What's up? Mrs. Up is here. Today, I'm sharing with you the day I found out I was a thief. God has many commandments, and of 10 of the commandments that are listed in the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 15 says, Thou shalt not steal. Or in current English, it says, You should not steal. I was around 5 or 6 years old. We were living in LaGrange, Illinois at the time, in a motel. That Saturday, we went to Jewel's grocery store to get a few things. I found a pack of stickers that I wanted, and I asked my mother if I could have it, or if I can get it. And her response to me was, another time. I didn't understand why we had to wait for another time when we were there. Didn't make any sense to me, so I took the stickers and put it in the strawberry shortcake tote bag that I had received from the Lost and Found that Friday. We'll come back to that. We got the rest of our things, checked out, and walked all the way back home. My mother, later, sees the stickers laying on the bed, and she asks, Where did these come from? And I looked up and saw that she was holding the stickers. And I just told her, Oh, the grocery store. And then she made this comment, We didn't pay for these. I didn't understand what she meant. I just repeated, I got them from the grocery store. And then she repeated, but we didn't pay for these. This is how I came to find out how the grocery store actually worked. You don't just go in, grab things, put it on the belt, and they bag it up and you go. There's this other transaction called money. I didn't know about that part. So what we ended up having to do was get our shoes and walk all the way back to Joel's grocery store so that I can find an employee that worked there so I can tell them that I stole the stickers and returned them and apologize. We returned home. Now I don't remember how I explained the strawberry shortcake tote bag that I got from school, but I did eventually ask my mother, is getting it from the Lost and Found considered stealing too? To which I found out, yes it is, because it wasn't mine. All I knew was every Friday you got to leave the classroom, go down to the Lost and Found. So I wanted to participate in going to the Lost and Found, and while I was down there, I found the strawberry shortcake tote bag. I was like, well, this is nice, so I took it. Anyway, I got a huge lesson about thievery that weekend. My mother wrote a note, so Monday I can return the strawberry shortcake tote bag back to the Lost and Found. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 15, it reads, If the wicked restores the pledge, gives back what he has taken by robbery. The good thing is, my mother followed that through when we walked all the way back to Jewel's grocery store to return the stickers that I had taken. I don't know if my mother knew it or not, but she actually did what this verse says. In the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 9, it reads, For the commandments, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not covet, or any other commandment are summed up in this word, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. In other words, when we show love to others, we aren't stealing from them. God always lets us know what's surely in our hearts and how sin is definitely our human nature. In Matthew chapter 15, verse 19, it reads, For out of the heart comes evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false witness, and slander. Yes, whether we are aware of it or not, our human nature is one of these many lists of sins. I don't know where people get this idea that we are naturally good people, and anyone is lying to you if they are saying that there's no sin, or we're not sinful people, or we're naturally good, we just do make mistakes. In the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 7, it reads, "Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever one sows, that he will also reap." Anyone is lying to you when they say that we're naturally good people. For God has already told us we're not. And God is not going to be mocked. Hence the reason why he tells us not to be deceived. There are many ways that all of us, one way or another, consciously or subconsciously, have committed theft. It has nothing to do with just getting a piece of candy, taking somebody's vehicle. It can be the smallest thing like walking off with the pin from your local bank. They didn't give it to you, and you didn't ask. That's theft. Now, some people will say, well, that's taking it to the extreme. Well, I believe that's why we're in the problem that we are in. We're not taking God seriously, and we certainly are taking sin as seriously as he does. So maybe we need to revert back to, even walking away with a pin from the bank is theft. And once we are aware of that, go back and return it and be held accountable to ourselves. Like I've said before, practice makes perfect. If we get in the habit of being more aware of our surroundings and aware of being more conscious of what we're doing, we aren't going to be so quick to just say, oh, it's just a pin. Because every time we say, oh, it's just a pin, well, then eventually we will make excuses for even bigger things like, oh, it's just a piece of candy, or it's just a bottle of soda. There are many ways that people start making excuses for theft, and it's wrong. So let's not be deceived, and let's not mock God any longer. Mrs. Up is here, and theft is what's up.